Greetings, hello, welcome, and be merry, for tonight the Metal Thunder approaches. We have finally reached my favourite tonnage in Best in Class, the 100-ton category, and what a selection of titans we have. 7 of the best machines from across centuries of weapons development will go head-to-head in our series of scientifically accurate tests to determine which one is indeed best in class. And tonight, as we do with every season for the 100-tonners, we're joined by our live studio audience. Yes, indeed. Now, let's get on to the mechs. The Annihilator. Honestly, the clue's in the name. Seemingly as tall as a skyscraper and boasting enough firepower to level Eddie's hometown, the Annihilator exists to make life hell for anyone unfortunate enough to step in front of its mighty quartet of LBs. Some may point out the low top speed of the Annihilator being a major drawback, and that it makes it easy to flank and hit from behind. I say anyone stupid enough to try and annoy this monster clearly has a death wish. The Atlas. The most iconic assault mech in human history, even the Tube Boys admit has a special place in their cold robotic hearts. And who wouldn't? The Atlas is still one of the all-time best frontline combat units you can deploy, capable of absorbing punishment and dishing it out in equal measure, like some kind of battle mech sadomasochist. Certainly, one of tonight's favourites going in to the sim matches. The Direwolf. The clans certainly weren't asleep at the wheel when it came to developing their own monsters of the field. The Direwolf could be called the king of assault omnimechs, a true titan amongst many. A boxy walking death machine is how Rocket describes it, and he isn't far off of that description. Can this cutting-edge machine take the top spot tonight? It certainly has an uphill battle ahead of it. The Fafnir. Speaking of cutting edge, there's nothing more advanced in tonight's lineup than the Fafnir. I was personally in two minds over which mech will win tonight, and this is one I feel fairly confident about, maybe even my pick of tonight. Sporting 2 heavy Gauss rifles, these advanced pieces of joy can drop pretty much any mech in a single volley, and it's plenty of ammo to boot. Ooh, gives me tingles just thinking about it. The King Crab. One of the Star League's best brawlers, many a foe has fallen to its pincery boom. The low ammo count can be called a hindrance, and its backup weapons are said to be few, but when something with a pair of AC-20s rocks around the corner and knocks you down, low ammo count and few backup weapons becomes largely academic. Can the Star League's heyday offering win the day? We'll have to see. The Kodiaq. There isn't anything cuddly about this bear. The Kodiaq is a battle mech, or totem mech, as the clans call it, a symbol of the Panda Bear clan. It even has little claws that pop out the hands. How cute. This mechanical monster, though, is equipped for a brawl, carrying a heatwave-inducing laser weaponry package backed by a single Ultra AC-20 and some Streak SRMs. Even the kitchen sink went into this design. But can it carry the day for the admittedly outnumbered clans this time? Finally, the Marauder II. It's a bigger Marauder. Like, imagine a Marauder and make it bigger. I know! Shocking, isn't it? They literally worked on this idea for seconds. Maybe even actually 4 seconds. Essentially, it's a Marauder with jump jets and a bigger gun on top. These Marauder fanboys will buy anything with the letters MAD next to it. Honestly. And that's the lineup for tonight's Best in Class. Let's take it over to the drag race. Well, here we go, Eddie, and the crowd are fired up and excited for this one.
Yes, yes, they're fired up and excited,
and in good mood, in a good mood.
Very good mood. Yes. Wow, the Kodiaq is absolutely racing ahead.
Yes, well, it's definitely one of the more impressive machines on the field. It's bristling with firepower, and it appears to be loaded, Eddie, with enough nitrous to get it. Well, I can almost take off the speed it's going by comparison.
Wow, yes, it certainly is fast in comparison to the rest of them.
And it's already cleared the line. Wow. First place for the Kodiaq. Next up is the Fafnir. Just about, no. King Crab
just in.
Direwolf by a nose. The Atlas close behind that. And the Marauder...
What is going on over here? What's this?
Yes, well, it looks like some little smart aleck has decided that they're going to highlight just how slow the Annihilator is, and try to race it.
All they're proving is how slow the urban mech is.
Yep, idiots, Eddie. That's who these people are.
Anyway.
As we go over to the scores, as you can see there,
scores on the doors.
It's anything to play for. The Annihilator's got a little bit of a hill to climb, but until then, we'll take it over to our tamed Simpod pilot.
You know, he's recently started claiming that he's a 87% DNA match with a Warhammer. I know. And that if he hears the voice of Bob Ross, he becomes incredibly agitated, claiming that he may seem like a great guy, but if you cross Bob, he'll cut you open like a tin of beans. I certainly don't know anything about that, but I do know that I am forced at gunpoint to say his name is Critical Rocket.
Well,
Bob Ross aside.
But Bob Ross's criminal leanings aside, apparently.
Yes.
As we go over to our first competitor here in the simulators, it's last place is in the drag race, it's the Annihilator.
But will he be first place in our hearts?
Ah, he always is for me, Eddie. Usually, I will hold my hands up here, my large, manly mitts, and admit that the Annihilator is probably my choice here. Even though usually I go for the more advanced clan machines. You can't go wrong with something that's called Annihilator.
No, you're absolutely right. But I have to question. Will you be going for the Annihilator today? Is this your pick?
I mean, I think it's a 50-50 at the moment between this and the old Fafnir. I mean, firepower. Sheer firepower from both of those machines.
They're impressive devices, but I'm sticking with the classic, the Atlas.
Fine choice, Eddie, a fine choice. Who's also coming up next after this here, rather tall gentleman with the odd face. I'm not going to say the Annihilator is a pretty mech by any standards.
No.
But it doesn't need to be pretty when it's tearing your face off.
No, it's true. She really is the kaiju. I think that's the term the kids like to use. The kaiju
they did.
of the mech world. She's a monster, a terror. A mech to be feared. Even the clans, I suspect, look upon her with terror in their hearts. And yet...
Well, they certainly did during the invasion, Eddie.
They certainly
they
did.
were going to terror. That's the joke I made there. Did you like that one?
And the truth is that the Annihilator had hardly been seen for quite a long time, though obviously stalwart of the Star League. It had virtually vanished until suddenly a group of mercenaries arrived who called themselves the Wolf's Dragoons.
Yes, indeed. They did bring with them a fair old amount of what would be called lost tech, and certainly shook things up within the mercenary world. Just like I did when I made my surprise appearance at the Meckies last week.
Yes, it wasn't really a surprise appearance, was it? It turns out there are always tickets for both of us. You've been using mine to take some arm candy with you.
Now, Shanice is a very, very, very beautiful lady, and she is not arm candy. She's a strong, independent woman, Eddie.
Yeah, a 22-year-old who hires her services. And you took a different one last time, I think Veronica something. But the point is...
It was Jessica, actually, but yes.
Oh, I do apologise.
Veronica was the year prior.
Oh, right, of course. So you've been using my ticket...
No,
claiming that I didn't want to go.
No, there was a snafu.
There was
we
no
were supposed
snafu.
to have 2 tickets this year.
I asked.
Who did you ask?
I asked when I was talking to a number of the people. They were very pleased I'd finally agreed to attend.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
One of the organisers came over and he said, "It's lovely to finally see you here. We know that apparently on the other occasions you've been just too busy, and it's going to be wonderful to see you."
Was that LaFleur?
I think it was LaFleur, yes.
You can't listen to Adrian LaFleur. He's always had it in for me at the awards. He's been pushing to get Technical Readout an award nearly every year.
Look, I know he's friends.
He's probably making it up, Eddie. He's trying to create division between us.
No. He was genuinely surprised to see me. Apparently, you told him that I wasn't a big fan, that I was always busy doing other stuff, that I didn't really
you are
like.
always biddy. Very busy.
I am
Eddie.
very biddy, yes. Thank you for that. I am very busy.
You're very busy.
I'm a very biddy person, yes. But, as I mentioned, It so happened this time I wasn't. And I've in fact been looking into why I've always been so very biddy, and it turns out that those things have been arranged by you.
I'm getting you work, Eddie. I'm getting you gigs in between.
Well, yes, to make up for the fact that I've not been getting paid all this time for doing this fantastic
One
show.
season's pay, cut short, to get the Mad Cat Mark II, Eddie. It's arriving soon, I've been told. Probably by the time this episode goes out, we'll be running around the track.
We certainly will, because as the fans out there probably know, the Mad Cat Mark II will be arriving at my family's estate.
That's true. They would only accept shipping to your estate, but still mine. It's still bought in my name.
No, it isn't.
What? What do you mean?
No, I had to make the final down payment you hadn't made, and when I showed them that many of the checks were in my name, they in fact realised I was the owner, and you own
Eddie.
11%.
Well, that's at least a laser.
Yes.
Well, at least I've got that. There's something. I can still pilot it, right, Eddie?
Yes, you can claim the left foot is yours.
No, I want the laser, Eddie. I want to give you something, Eddie. Come on, Eddie.
Oh, you mean like...
My main pal.
You've been taking
My sidekick,
my money
my
for
minion.
years. I've not been allowed to go to the
My butler in
Meckies.
arms.
You've been screwing me over. No, you can have the left foot. You can be the owner of my left foot.
Target destroyed.
Oh. Suppose it's something. Can I still pilot it, Eddie?
Yes, of course.
Yes. You can't see it, crowd, but I am fist bumping. The live audience, of course, can see the fist bumping, but you at home watching, you can't see, but I am fist bumping in success.
Acquired.
Which is something that Rocket's actually doing here in this match
Yes,
with the
he's
Annihilator.
actually doing very, very well. The Annihilator is such an absolute brute of a mech, and he's using it to good form here. In fact, very good form, I would say.
As I've been informed, the Annihilator is much like myself, simple and straightforward. 4
Well, I would
LB10s
agree with simple.
and 4 medium pulse. No, Eddie, I mean as a simple man. I'm not a complex person.
No, don't worry, audience, don't worry. I've got plenty more.
Is being captured.
Stop using the audience.
Yes, okay. Yes, the...
Well, he bagged himself another kill. I believe he might not be up to 3 or 4 at this point. I'm not sure already. I've lost
Wowee.
track.
Yes, well, so did I, but...
Absolutely, he's killing it on a map, by the way, Eddie, that is very rarely seen in the Simpods here, known
Yeah.
as Terra Firma.
Terra Firma, you say?
Yes,
Wow.
yes, Firma as in thermal, rather than the firma as in the earth.
Yes, of course, of course.
A play on words there.
Yeah.
By the boffins.
It's terribly funny. It makes me
It's
laugh.
terrible, I'd say.
Oh, it makes me laugh.
Well, that just speaks to your level of comedy, Eddie.
Got a joke out of you. Anyway, so yes, it looks like this match might be coming
we
to
are
an
in
end.
the dying moments of this match. I've already got my my pad ready. We're waiting for the information to fly in there. I think that's how the information
Oh, there
works.
it goes, and that looks like the match is over.
Oh, yeah, that is the end. And the date has already appeared for me before it'll appear for you on screen, but you can confirm it. Match score of 600.
Wow.
873 damage.
Incredible.
4 kills. And a
Lovely.
win. 95 points, Eddie.
Holy Toledo. Impressive.
It's quite a score. Well, Eddie, we roll over to your choice, the Atlas.
It certainly is. There can't be anybody, even out in the furthest reaches of the periphery, who doesn't know the Atlas.
Who just want an Atlas as
Doesn't
well.
want an Atlas as well. It's true that even some of the clannies have said that the Atlas is still one of the greatest mechs ever built, and that might be because, after all, it was partially inspired by certain design specs written by the man himself, Alexander Kerensky.
Yes, he did have a very important part to play in its design and its overall intended goal on the battlefield. And famously, his right-hand man piloted one in the Great Siege of Terra to liberate the Earth from one Stefan Amaris.
That's right. Though he occasionally did pilot an Atlas himself, it wasn't his own mech of choice. But what a mech he helped design. Now, Kerensky himself was not an engineer, and so when people say he helped design it, they might get a bit out of their league. Of course, he's not an engineer. He put forward a proposal of what he wanted the mech to be.
Scary face.
Yes.
He wanted a scary face on it.
And he wanted
Scare people.
He wanted the biggest weapons that they had, and that was the AC-20, the LRM-20, the SRM-6. I'm sure if he could have done, he'd have probably wanted a PPC and large laser and a dozen other things. But in the end, the Atlas is still a mech to be feared. And, well, if it's a golden Atlas, it's a mech we picked up just a few nights ago.
We have a fair collection of golden Atlases in our rooms, yes, and this one, for the first time, Eddie, has both of our names on the plaque.
Yes, it does, for the first time.
Well, look, we were doing better than VCV, Van Chance and Voxel.
Ah,
that empty trophy cabinet for them, eh?
Yes. Oh, I bumped into Voxel. Oh, he's a pitiful little man.
Oh,
he's just a stooge.
He's still there with his accent. Oh yeah, I'm so technical. You know,
yes, I know.
And he doesn't even sound like that.
He's not. He's such a bore as well. All he talks about is parts and
the internals
specs
of the machine.
Yes, he's so boring. And he's literally just a stooge for Van Chance. I don't know how he can't see through it. How he doesn't realise
he's always being used by him.
He's always being walked over.
Yeah.
And somehow he never seems to notice. I think one day maybe the blinkers will come off and he'll realise what's been happening to him all along, but I doubt it.
He's too stupid to realise that.
He's too dumb to realise.
And Van Chance, I mean, he's a former pilot himself.
Yes.
Although he was a racer.
Yes,
who
of
thought
course.
he could get into the whole the limelight of the thing, and he thought he could become some kind of artist. Try to break out and release some musical tracks. Some of his own paintings and the such. They were all tragic.
He's such a smug, pompous. Oh, he's horrible, isn't he?
Well, I mean, did you see the woman he brought? She was young enough to be his granddaughter.
Yes, I know. She looked about 19, maybe 20. He clearly paid for her to be on his arm.
Brought her.
Pathetic, isn't it?
Absolutely pathetic.
He's not aged well.
No.
He's got a bit of a paunch. He does not look good, does he? Still trying to put himself into modern day clothing to look like he's in it with the kids. He brags about where he comes from. He's pathetic, isn't he?
Obsessed with some other lady racer. I don't know.
That's right. Yeah. Oh my God, the Libertine, as she's nicknamed.
Yes.
Oh my God, he drools over pictures of her. Hasn't got the guts to go over and try and even say hi. But then he's obviously seen himself in the mirror and realises his best days are way behind him.
And his name, Aiden Van Chance.
Van Chance. He doesn't stand a chance.
Ain't no chance, more like.
Chance. You're so right, my colleague. You are so right.
I know. I'm always right, Eddie. Every single thing I'm right about.
Agent No Chance. That's my. That's classic. Oh, I'll be dining out on that one for weeks.
I'm already checking. It's already trending on the Sphere Webby thing.
Oh yes.
I'm not very up on the technology these days.
No, me neither. Well, not that kind of
Rocket's
tech.
dead.
I don't know why I'm laughing. This is my Mac of choice.
He got killed by an Atlas, so I guess it was the only thing that can kill an Atlas.
Is an Atlas.
Another Atlas.
Woo!
I mean, that was good. It's fitting. It's fitting.
Oh,
and there goes the one who killed him. And that's it. It's over.
That's the end of the match.
How did your pick do? I mean, it's going to be a tough order.
Well, he must have got at least one kill. He was in an Atlas.
300 match score, 499 damage, a kill. You're right, Eddie.
Right.
A win, obviously, 45 points. It's not a bad score.
It's not a bad score.
So we go over to our next match. And with that out of the way, well, we go over to our, I believe it's our first clan offering of a very small number of clan mechs within the 100-ton range in this simulator.
Yes, and obviously I would imagine to most people this has been a symbol of fear and terror for those of us in the inner sphere. It's the Direwolf.
Yes, the Direwolf, or the Daishi.
Daishi, yes.
As the Draconis Combine first started referring to it. I'm not sure it's a name I'd really go for. I'd personally call it as a walking box with more guns than sense.
I would have thought that would make it your perfect mech.
Well, I would, Eddie, I would, but, you know, the Fafnir is, I think, probably going to edge this one out, mainly because it's far more advanced, it's a more recent design, Eddie, and it's bringing those very, very sweet heavy Gauss rifles.
That's right, yes, it is a very good mech, but this is also a real brutal mech to come up against. Has the armour and speed of an Atlas, but wow, it outdoes it in the firepower department.
Oh, in nearly every single way, Eddie. It's
Yes.
4 ER large, 4 medium pulse, 2 ultra cannon 5s,
Yeah.
and a single LRM-10. Almost an afterthought, really, I guess, the LRM-10. A bit like the Warhawk Prime's LRM-10. It just seems to be something that the clans wanted to make use of. They need that pod space, they're going to use it.
Well, it gives it that extreme range fire, it gives it the benefit of firing on targets it itself cannot see, and it just gives it, that extra punch when it needs it. But basically, when it comes to real firepower, it's those large lasers, isn't it?
Yes, it does give it that ability to reach out and touch somebody, which is exactly what it's doing there in Rocket's control now. Obviously, this is not a measurement of an actual quality performance of the machine because, well, our budget is sometimes relatively stretched thin, what with all of the special effects that you don't largely see on the show. But we like to pay for them regardless, don't we?
That's right, yes, we do.
Also,
we
a
do.
very extensive food and drink offering for the hosts.
Well, I think it's only right. I mean,
Oh,
we
yeah,
are
yeah,
the talent.
of course, yeah.
Without
course.
us, there isn't a show.
There's me, then there's the co-host, my butler in arms, my
I'm not
minion.
butler in arms, I'm not your minion, I'm your co-host. Co-host means equal.
I prefer butler in arms.
You're
though.
a co-host.
I'm not a co-host.
Yes,
I'm the
you
main
are.
host. I was here before
There's
you,
no
Eddie.
main host.
One of the boffins' cats got out again, Eddie.
Yes, it happens from time to time.
Yes.
It's okay, they probably won't.
There's a
hear
boffin over there. They appear to be huffing paint.
it. Yes,
Yes,
well, they're a bit weird around these parts. But, yes.
Whatever gets them through the day, I suppose.
Rocket has said in the past, though, he's not a huge fan of the larger, slower mechs. And yet even he said that this is a mech he expects to get at least a kill in because of just the huge amount of firepower she carries.
Well, I mean, that is the hope. We always hope Rocket can actually do something that's entertaining on the screen. I mean,
Well, he did very well with the Annihilator.
He
Very
did. I'll
well.
give him that one. He seems to have really excelled here in the 100 Tonners so far, providing good quality
Considering he-
entertainment.
Yeah, considering he says he doesn't like the ultra.
And, you know, for
big,
once, Eddie,
slow
I actually feel
mechs.
like that for a change, he's taking some of the weight off our backs here, because
Yeah.
honestly, I get a sore back carrying both you and Rocket throughout these episodes.
Carrying both of us, sorry?
Well, someone's got to be charismatic, attractive, informative, firm but fair. And did I say attractive? Because I have to put attractive back
Well,
on
that's
there. Eddie.
definitely not you, is it? I mean, not with that gut.
Bought and paid for, Eddie.
Slightly receding hairline, the definite second.
Sign of wisdom, Eddie. The second chin. That's the lie.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure it's all bought and paid for, as it were.
Smooth as a clan baby's bottom, I
No,
imagine.
I don't think so. At least that's a frightening
As far as I
thought.
know, clans are hairless most of the time. They're all wigs that they wear, aren't they?
I don't know, I like the idea that they're...
They're like
they are.
those cats, aren't they? The hairless cats.
Is it to make them faster or something?
It could be maybe more aerodynamic as they run to their battle axe. Yeah, they're completely hairless. Yeah, that's the rumor I've heard, because I've only ever spoken to a couple, and they were both bald, and they did lack any kind of facial hair
Or humour.
or humor,
Yeah.
a soul, any kind of sign of life in the eyes.
And definitely parents.
Yes, I did start to think maybe they were some kind of android that had actually been sent to invade the inner sphere, but I was assured that apparently they do breathe.
Ah, well, there you go.
Yes, they do have a need to eat and sleep, surprisingly. But that aside, facts aside, Eddie.
Facts aside, he hasn't got a kill yet.
He's not dead, though. He's not
He's
dead.
not dead.
He's
no,
still-
this thing carries, as I said...
He's using it as some kind of
armour as an
turret,
Atlas.
to be honest. He's perched it up on this high spot, and he's just letting those lasers, as you say, do all the work.
Yes, maybe that's not a bad idea. It's just not quite working out for him. But then again, he might be doing an awful lot of damage because that mech can dish an awful lot of damage.
Provided he keeps the heat under control. That's,
yeah, those lasers definitely. Even the clan tech, in the end, is just going to struggle to keep these weapons firing for any
the problem with
length
this
of time.
simulator is that the boffins didn't actually know what heat sinks did, how they worked properly, and so they just kind of made it up as they went along, really.
Yeah, unfortunately, this simulator is very old, and trying to plug in new information, especially the clan tech, it does occasionally have a few wobbles, shall we say. And to be honest, it has a few problems with the original mechs that it was programmed with, which are mostly Star League and older designs.
Well, there's a couple of designs in there that are just, they never existed. They just appeared. And there's also several as they're listed as hero designs, although there's no particular information as to who used them and why they were heroic in any way, shape or form. But they're still there, Eddie. I don't know why.
I think these were just added by some of the programmers over the years, a bit bored, wanted to do their own thing, had heard something and decided, what if?
Well, they've got plenty of work to be getting on with, Eddie. Plenty of work.
Well, speaking of work, he's had his kill.
Yes, that is
and
true.
He might be going for his second.
Or was that his kill? No, I think that one overheated. I think that one died.
But he has definitely had a kill, so
the
he
AI,
said he'd get at least one.
Yes, well, he certainly did. He didn't get left behind by the team for a change, which is also surprising.
And oh, there we go.
It's over.
It's over. So what did we get?
Bringing it up on the old data pad now, Eddie.
Yes.
It's 401 match score, 641 damage, a kill, and a win, of course. 60 points.
That's not bad. By the way, on your data pad, your handwriting's terrible.
Eddie. Well, after your little snub there about my data pad, we go over to my choice to win, the Fafnir.
Ah, well, yes, this is quite the mech, I have to admit.
Fafnir. Just say the word, it just exudes victory. Fafnir. Fafnir.
Yes, so, yes, this is your choice, and an excellent choice it is too. This mech
Why, thank you, Eddie.
carries the two relatively new heavy Gauss rifles.
Oh, cutting edge.
And these things, wow, they deliver the damage. There's
Maybe
no
not so
doubt.
much cutting edge as blunt force trauma, Eddie. Two heavy Gauss rifles. We're talking an immense amount of firepower.
These things are brutal. It's impressive. 4 tons of ammo to keep these things firing. Admittedly, once it expands all of that ammo,
There's nothing left.
There's nothing
There's no
left.
enemies left. But
well, there's nothing left in its firepower to keep itself going. It's got what, a couple of
2 ER mediums and a medium pulse. It does have the Guardian ECM, and no fool is going to wander a Fafnir out on his own anyway. I mean, anyone who's in their right
and no
mind.
one's going to wander over to this thing on the hopes it doesn't still have a round or two of ammo.
No,
That's certainly true.
definitely not. This is definitely one of those machines that is. Well, when it hit the headlines of Defiance Industries, announcement, it was already being hailed as this generation's Atlas in a way. It was the machine that was going to kind of supplant and become the new face of assault designs in the 100-ton category, and there is a reasonable validity to that, I'd say, Eddie.
Yes, I agree.
It's no Omnimech from the Innosphere developers,
it's
of
not
course.
an Omnimech, but it's clear that both that houses such as Marek and Kurita and Lao have definitely
I'm sure they're a
stood
little
up
worried.
and taken
Yeah.
notice. They've definitely sat up, taken notice. They're very well aware that this is cutting edge.
I'm sure even the clans in the occupation zones are now wetting themselves with fear. Isn't that right, live studio audience? Yes, yeah. Eddie, the audience is really happy, Eddie.
They're very happy in the exact same
Eddie,
way.
they're just
over and
looping
over.
constantly, Eddie.
Yeah.
I think the machine's broken. Press the. This is your idea, Eddie.
I'm trying
Eddie. Eddie.
I'm trying to
it's
do
still going, Eddie.
Just give me a sec.
Eddie. Is that fixing it, Eddie? That just seems to be breaking it more. Eddie, just
I'm taking the batteries out.
take the batteries.
I'm taking the batteries out, and
And
they're out.
there we go.
Target acquired.
Our live studio audience there, folks, just lapping it all up.
Our battery-powered live studio
the live studio audience, they're loving every minute of it.
It's a horrendous idea, Eddie.
Shut up, no one will notice. And after all, we are Gold Atlas.
Yes,
recently
five-time winner at the Meckies of the Atlas.
5, you can't see me doing, but I am holding my hand up.
He is holding all 5 of his fingers up and his
digits.
thumb.
And it is 5 times we have won that, and we have won it deservingly.
Oh yes,
haven't we?
very deserving.
Very
winners.
deservingly. And
one of the reasons why I had to personally collect 4 of the 5 awards
was that you told them that I was busy on each occasion. Those were a lie. You
were
brought,
busy on all those
a young
occasions,
lady
Eddie.
along with you using my
Shanice
spot.
was very nice. I think her name was Shanice. Can't remember.
I can't remember all of them, to be entirely honest, but yes. Anyway, I'll be obviously attending from now on. I'm sure we'll win many, many more, much to the continued chagrin and embarrassment of...
Should I grin, Eddie? Should I grin?
No, chagrin.
Sugar. What am I having sugar in?
And embarrassment.
Is there a cup of tea?
That is technical readout. I mean, those guys.
Oh, right, yes. Aiden Van Chance and
And,
Maximilian Voxel, yes.
Voxel, oh my god. That
named
man.
himself after an engine.
That man, he is so boring.
I think his name is Neville, actually.
It might be, actually. I think he changed
It's not
it.
Maximilian.
No,
I'm fairly certain.
I'm pretty sure it's not actually Maximilian. Maximilian might be the name of their dog.
Oh, it could be. They do have that.
His parents, I think, had a dog.
It was an emotional support animal, wasn't it?
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
yes,
that's the one.
yes.
Little beagle thing.
I think so. Yes, yes. His mother had a lot of issues.
Issues,
A lot of
definitely.
issues. Yes.
One of them was that she collected beagles.
And his father, obviously, was very rarely seen, as he was very good at hiding.
He was extremely good at it.
He had won awards.
He was a champion.
He was.
An Innisphere champion.
He was an
I
Innisphere
think
champion.
at
You're
least
quite pleased with that, aren't you?
10 years in a row.
And yes, so but the Fafnir,
Fafnir,
yes, the Fafnir, I guess the only thing you could say that negative about the Fafnir is that obviously because of the weaponry, it can be obviously undone by mechs that choose to try to stay at range. But if this thing has allies with it and they can, well, deter mechs or allow the Fafnir to get in close, I don't care what you're piloting, you're pretty much dead meat.
Well, Eddie, for the earlier part of the statement, I should punch you in the face, but you managed to save yourself there, because the Fafnir is going to really, really show you up now.
Is it?
In the score department, because here we go! The Fafnir, 335 match score. Pissing shit, what? 439 damage, that's more like it. 4 kills!
4 kills?
4 kills.
And a win.
And a win. 60 points, exactly the same as the fucking Direwolf. Well, the King Crab.
The King
Crab. Ah, yes, the Star League's finest.
Yeah, the King Crab's a little overshadowed by the Atlas, isn't it?
It was in the end, yes. Although, pound for pound, I would still prefer the King Crab in a one-on-one fight. Purely because those two AC-20s, though they have limited ammunition, can really, really tear apart a mech very quickly.
Yeah, they can. The large laser and the LRM-15 as backup mean that even if you try to stay out of range, it can still do a reasonable amount of damage, and then if it does just about manage to bring those weapons to bear, you're in a world of pain. A little bit like, obviously, a previous mech, the Fafnir, in that respect. If it gets in range, you're in a lot of trouble.
Well, I know Rocket's in a lot of trouble.
This mech, at least, has... oh, you're not bringing that up, are you?
No, Rocket's in a lot of trouble. I paid him well. I got him the largest pizza that was on the menu, in the flavour that he wanted.
Were you trying to get him to...
I may have greased the wheels a little bit just for the Fafnir, and he didn't deliver at his 60
points. I don't know
points.
About greasing wheels. I do know you perhaps got a little, how can I put it, greasy at that party.
Eddie, I've seen the footage. It was a jar of blueberry jam. And
you were drunk as a lord. You had no idea what you were doing, did you?
I was fairly certain that I could fit between the doors if I was greased up with some jam and I was shirtless. That was the best that I...
That poor waitress, she did not know where to look.
Oh,
This
she
was
knew
a
exactly where to look, Eddie. There
This
was all
was
on display.
This was a prestigious party with a lot of movers and shakers, and what you were shaking was something nobody wanted to see.
What I was shaking
And on
was
this
certainly
occasion-
moving the room, Eddie.
And on this occasion, I don't mean your gut.
The media reports seem to make it out like a drunken lout, or was it pair of drunken louts ruin awards ceremony?
I was trying to stop you.
You were drunk as well.
I was a little bit tipsy, but compared to you, I hadn't half stripped off, covered myself in God knows what, trying to get through a door you weren't supposed to walk through because it was supposed to be a door for certain food items to come in and out. It's not for people.
That's why it smelled so nice.
Yes. Now, this was an electronic lift. I tried explaining it to you. You started complaining about how I was being boring.
I just wanted you to explain what a dumb waiter was. And then you said it was me. And then I was confused because then I thought, was I supposed to be serving food at the event?
You tried to climb inside. It was
did.
clearly too small. You're clearly too big.
Well, at least I didn't get onto the microphone afterwards and start proclaiming that I was the smartest technician in the Inner Sphere and clan territory, that I knew everything about any mech, you name it, I'll tell you.
Maximilian had been saying stuff behind my back. You know what he'd been saying. I'd had a few drinks, I admit. But he is so annoying. He thinks he knows stuff better than me. I have been climbing through the guts of mechs since I was 7 years old. 7 years old. He didn't start until he was, what, 15, 16?
Maybe.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
A lot of the time I agree with you, Eddie, he doesn't, but on this particular occasion he was talking about how the L274 type of sprocket that's used in most leg assemblies was the incorrect version that was used in more modern manufacturing processes. You said that wasn't the case, and thus it went from there. I had no friggin' idea what was going on.
Yes, because the L274, yes, but not the L274 he meant. Because there are two different sprockets. The L274 and the L274.
Oh, there's a space.
You see the difference? It's obvious
I'm
to
just gonna
anyone.
look it up on
it's
my
obvious
data
to
pad.
anyone, but no, not to that blithering idiot.
I'm on my
I had a few
I'm on the
drinks,
orange.
it's true.
Oh, yeah, you're right, Eddie. Yes, there's two very different assemblies of sprockets used there.
But you had to... That poor waitress.
She was gagging for it, Eddie.
She was not gagging
She wanted
for
a
it.
piece of this.
She was trying to understand why someone was trying to drag themselves into a dumb waiter that was half their own size, covered in whatever it was.
Blueberry jam.
Blueberry jam. And then you fell on her. Then you started saying she was trying to sexually assault you.
New target.
She had her hands all over me, Eddie.
She was trying to get out from under you, but you were so slippery and sticky and disgusting.
She wanted these
And then
buns of steel,
I
Eddie.
was trying to get you off her, then I fell over, and then they started saying I was sloshed and the rest of it. You stank.
Of blueberries.
Mainly of hard liquor. It was disgusting, frankly.
Well, I remember it being quite
That
enjoyable.
poor young girl. She didn't know what was going on. She was covered from head to toe in a mixture of your sweat and the... It was horrible.
She barely spoke Lyran. I don't know what she was going on about.
No, she didn't speak Lyran, but that doesn't make it okay.
Crazy
You
dead
made an
language.
idiot of the pair of us.
Target destroyed.
Vauxhall was laughing his head off.
Van Chance wasn't, though.
No, because he'd been caught apparently revealing himself in the toilets.
I dared him to do it.
Was that you?
Yeah. Couldn't help it. Oh, round's over. The King Crab. 347 match score, 526 damage, 2 kills, a win, 55. I mean, it's not my choice, but it did well, Eddie. It did well. Well, that aside, Eddie.
Yes,
Hijinks aside.
let's get over to the Kodiaq and stop all this stupidity.
Clan Panda Bear. You know, Eddie.
Yeah.
There's obviously me and you. We're the faces of the program, but of
We
course,
certainly are. The faces, the voices, the talent.
yes. But of course, the sim matches are all played from the perspective of our trained chimp in a mech pilot suit. He's the sim podder that we rely on, unfortunately, to gather the footage for these episodes. And not too long ago, Eddie,
Yeah?
he was interviewed by Simpodders Monthly. There's a nice audio excerpt you can get in the digital version. And frankly, Eddie, he said some fairly controversial stuff. Just let me just bring up a little snippet.
I don't remember hearing anything about
it.
this.
No, here it is, Eddie. Don't worry.
Okay, go on then, play it. Let's hear what he had to say.
Here it is, just to give you a second. I laughed my ass off when I read about the Kentauri's massacre.
Well, that sounded a bit weird.
It's shocking stuff, isn't it, Eddie? What do you mean weird?
No,
I mean, it's weird that he has that kind of opinion about the Kentauri's massacre.
I'm just saying the cadence of his voice sounded a little odd.
You know what he's like, you said it yourself. He walks around the corridors dressed as an atlas.
Making choo-choo noises. Yes, I know.
He has webbed buttocks.
Look, I'm aware of all these things that have been claimed, but at least he kind of talks normally. There was something very strange about that.
Well, you want to hear about strange, Eddie. How about this excerpt from the interview? Let me just bring it up for you. Well, I find big, muscular male elemental pilots to be sexy.
That was definitely very suspect.
I mean, sexual proclivities aside, Eddie, I'm not judging,
suspect.
but that is very... What do you mean, suspect? What do you mean, Eddie?
The way he spoke. It sounded like someone had taken bits of stuff and put it together.
Are you suggesting that one of us, maybe you, went into the editing suite?
Well, it wouldn't be me, would it? Because I wouldn't be now bringing it up.
Well, this could be the perfect... bluff, couldn't it?
You're the one who had the files. Where did you get these files
I brought
from?
it up on my orange. Look, it's right there. There's the file. See?
Well, where's the rest of the interview? The actual interview that these bits come from?
Somewhere in the editing folder somewhere.
Is it? Is it really? I think there's been so... Look, let's just get back to the Kodiaq for the moment. So this is a clan totem mech of clan Ghost Bear.
Panda Bear.
I thought you liked some of the clans.
I like their tech, but I'm not a big fan of some of their weird shamanistic ways, Eddie. No. Forward-thinking societies is what we need, not people who rely on bizarre combat rituals and voodooism and whatever else paganist ritual bloody things that they go through, Eddie. No, we need men of science. Good ideas, building bigger, better weapons for the future.
Well, this is a pretty big weapon.
Oh, it is at that, Eddie. An Ultra AC-20 smack bang and a sandwich of ER medium lasers, ER large, and some streak missiles.
Yes.
It's a particularly brutal machine. I'm not going to take away from it there, Eddie.
Yeah, it looks like a kind of Atlas someone dressed up for a party.
I mean, it's kind of cuddly, isn't it?
Yeah.
It has its funny little ears on the side. I don't know. I mean, maybe some clan designers do actually have a soul and maybe some mild sense of humour. Did you know it even has little claws that come out the side of the hands? They don't use them. They're not for combat. They're just there.
Wow. Okay, that's... I mean, this, of course, is not the only totem mech in existence.
Oh, no, far from it.
Several of the clans have their own totem mechs. Never quite understood the reason for it, though this one is particularly nasty. And as you say, you get in close range with this beast, and it will tear chunks out of your mech.
Oh, indeed. It's a mech that's, very high heat. And not something you can never fire all of the lasers at the same time. I mean, unless you wanted to hit the old override switch and try to melt your opponent before they kill you. But
yes, before you melt yourself, as you say.
Yeah, indeed. Yes, that coolant suit's going to have to be really double backed with the ice packs, just to make sure you don't die there.
Yes, but this mech can take a horrendous beating, and as we've seen, it was the quickest of our 100 tonners.
It did indeed win the drag race. Yes, it is quick for a standard battle mech. No omnipod space, and in the sim for a while, the Kodiaq was considered hands down the best machine you could get in the 100-ton bracket for a time, and until the boffins messed around with it a bit, and it ended up becoming, as they call it, nerfed.
Ah, right, okay. Now, was that to make it a more realistic example of the mech, unlike the very unrealistic way we heard Rocket talking earlier?
No comment really on that one. But you're bringing Rocket up again, and interestingly enough, there is a final excerpt of the interview we can play for you just now, Eddie, and I find quite interesting.
Okay.
Presenter Alden is a really cool bloke.
What the hell?
Well, say what you want about him, but at least he's got some taste. He's a good friend of our old uns there, apparently.
He hates Alden. I've heard him say so on numerous occasions.
Well, clearly they must have buried the hatchet at some point.
I don't think the only hatchet getting buried is either one of them burying it in the other one's spinal column.
Well, with that said, let's have a look at the scores. Rocket...
fake.
What? No, wasn't fake at all, Eddie. You're mad. Here we go. We got 251 match score, 401 damage, a kill but not a win. 35 points, our lowest scorer of the event.
Wow.
Well,
Definitely wrong.
well. Anyway, Eddie,
Definitely
we're
wrong.
going over to our final contender here for the crown.
Definitely wrong.
It's the fanboy's favourite, Eddie. It's the Marauder II.
Ah, yes. Marauder 2, not to be confused with the Marauder 2C, or as some very strange people call it, Marauder IIC.
Yes, I don't
that
really know
makes
why people
sense.
say IIC. It is a bit of a mystery.
It's Roman numerals, people. Yes, this is the Marauder 2. I'm going to be honest, never been quite sure why this was built.
Money, Eddie. There's a huge market out there for people who seem to think the Marauder is the be-all and end-all of the heavy mech in the inner sphere. And some, I assume, bright spark entrepreneurial type went, what if we make it bigger? And pretty much that's how it went from there, I think, Eddie.
I guess it's a little bit strange. I mean, when I think Marauder, I'll be honest, the last thing I think is, wow, shouldn't that jump?
Yes, jump jets on a 100-tonner isn't exactly unusual by today's standards. Of course, we have seen several of the assault mechs with jump jets, and classically there was the Highlander. But the Marauder needing to have jump jets, especially a 100-ton version of it, I never quite understood the idea.
I mean, obviously there's the obvious point of death from above. There's the fact that big lumbering mechs like this, jump jets can suddenly give them a little bit of maneuverability that can catch others off guard.
Because Rocket's using here.
Yes.
Badly.
But, in fairness, once the enemy knew that the Marauder 2C could jump, and obviously their onboard systems would quickly start to realise that this was not an ordinary Marauder.
No.
They would know it had that capability. I'm sure in the first few fights, the first time this thing was used, and it suddenly started using jump jets to manoeuvre past or behind opponents to level them with its ER PPCs, no point-blank range problems, they could just fire as they saw fit. But still...
But does that really warrant the weight increase, Eddie? An extra 25 tons, a large chunk of that ton is taken up by the jump jets. Upgrading the AC5 to an LB10, I can see the idea, but
Yeah.
I just don't know where all the other 25 tons went. It seems undergunned compared to some other of the 100-ton mechs that we've seen here, and it's fairly heat inefficient. And really, it's not much to write home about. It's literally just, as I said in the introduction, if you put MAD in front of anything, fanboys will run out and buy it. En masse.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the idea of trying to improve upon what they feel is already an excellent design, and the Marauder is an excellent design.
Yeah, not taking it away from that.
No, we're not going to argue that point. But this is just a bigger, slower, maybe even less heat efficient Marauder with a little jump jets.
Yeah, basically.
I don't get it, do you?
No. I've always struggled with the Marauder II. I've seen many a skilled pilot use one. We're not saying that the Marauder II is a bad mech.
No, we're not saying
I'm
that.
just confused about why it was made. It's like deciding to make a Warhammer 2, and the best you did with it was you just gave it ER PPCs and switched up the I don't know, the small lasers to mediums.
And the
that was it.
SRM6 to an LRM10 or something stupid
And
like
you
that.
whack some jump jets on it. It's superfluous and pointless.
A Warhammer with jump jets is almost as
ridiculous. It is.
Yeah.
It is just as ridiculous, Eddie. But of course, there are famous mercenary units. The Barban's Marauder IIs, of course.
Yes, of course.
They have an exclusive contract with which to replenish their lost numbers, which would suggest that there is a case that they lose more than they, and then they make money sometimes. I
Maybe
imagine.
they do. I don't know.
And Rocket's not exactly having the best of times here in the Marauder 2. Things are going a bit south, a bit pear-shaped. And, well, there's a Fafnir, an example of a different 100-ton mech that can definitely bring the pain. And that's it. His Marauder 2 is dead. He decided to paint it in a Zeta Battalion scheme there, so it was all black with the Zeta Battalion logo.
Okay.
So the boffins did kind of on and off decide to add little decals, as the head boffin there calls them for some reason.
Oh, yes.
I don't know why he calls them decals. They're decals, people.
Decals.
Decals. But
I've heard others use the term, but it is decal.
yes, frosty chocolate decals. So we're just seeing the AI just fight itself now at this point. But funnily enough, staying with the Marauder 2, we were talking about people who would buy them and who'd be an idiot, and we're going to go back to our old favourite here, our number one fan, Aidan Van Chance. He has a Marauder 2, but he has it in electric blue with raspberry red highlights, and it says Lily on the side. Apparently that's its name. I don't know if it's named after one of his dogs or something.
I have no idea. He has been seen, obviously. They've recorded a number of things with him piloting around in it. He even appeared at one of the... it was on Solaris 7. It was a charity event, wasn't it? And
every event involving him is a charity event, because I don't know anyone who would pay for his services.
Yeah, I mean, when I was... the brief bit of chat I had with him at the Meckies. Oh God, he's difficult to talk to.
You just have to be diplomatic about it, Eddie.
I just smiled a lot and yeah, that's great, Aidan.
Did he have the top buttons of his shirt undone so you could see a little bit of his chest? He's got no chest hair. I don't know why. I don't
know why he does it either. Yeah, it's
There's no definition to the man.
No, he wasn't worth talking to, frankly. He was pretending to say how they'd won this, that, and the other, and therefore it didn't matter. But then why turn up?
Claims to have spent an evening with Michelle. Of course, it's a lie. He just says that to try to get to me, to stab me in the heart. It's never going to happen, Eddie. Of course.
Oh yeah, that's right. I bumped into her.
What? She wasn't at the Meckies. I would have seen her.
She was at the party.
I would have found her, Eddie.
She was at the after party.
We would have finally met, Eddie. It would have been the 5th marriage that I've always dreamed of.
Yeah, I spoke to her.
What? What do you mean you spoke to her? What did she say? Did she ask about me?
Well, it was kind of funny, really.
Was it? Oh, that's amazing.
We ended up...
She has an amazing sense of humour, Eddie.
Yeah, well, we ended up sort of chatting a little, and I just happened to use my recording device, and I decided to ask her a question, and we were getting on really well. Anyway, this is what she said. Miss Clapspate, I just wondered if I could quickly ask you a little question.
Oh, please, do call me Michelle.
Oh, thank you very much, thank you very much. I was just wondering what you knew about my good friend James McCracken.
Your friend James?
My co-host?
I'm sorry, I've never heard of him.
Oh. And that's what she said.
No, Eddie. It can't be true.
I was getting on with her like a house on fire.
Eddie, why?
With,
why would you say this, Eddie?
Sure,
Eddie, this is too much to bear, Eddie.
I'm sorry. I mean, I thought I asked her,
She can't. She must know who I am, Eddie. I'm famous, Eddie.
Well, she didn't really know who I was to start with, but we're on quite good terms now. It seems we had a bit of a laugh.
Can you give me an in, Eddie? Can you help me know?
Well, I don't know really.
Help a friend out. Come on, Eddie.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you don't really go out of your way to help me.
My heart's breaking here, Eddie.
Plus, I don't really know her well enough to be able to do something like that at the moment. Maybe give it time. Maybe give it time. We'll just have to say. And speaking of not having any time left, here's our scores.
242, 405 damage, no kills, and a loss. It was the lowest score of 30.
And as you can see by the scores on the doors, it's all to play for, but the Annihilator for the moment is ahead. The Fafnir is doing well. Let's just yes, we'll
We need a break, Eddie.
He needs a bit of a break, folks. Let's give him a few seconds, and then we'll go over to the grand melee.
Well, here we are, Eddie. After a stiff drink, we go into the 100-ton Grand Melee,
We certainly do.
where we will
yes.
find out who wins. Once and for all of the 100-tonners for this season, it's off already.
It certainly is, and look at that firepower being traded there.
Oh, it's incredible. I'm not going to lie, Eddie. I've got a bit of a chubby watching this amount of firepower wandering the field, just smacking. Someone's already dead.
Wow.
It's the Direwolf.
Direwolf's already down.
The clans
My
are
goodness.
50% down on their competitors. This is not looking good for the clans in this one. But it was always going to be an uphill struggle. 5 in the sphere competitors against 2. No, it was never good.
I'm surprised you can still be excited after that news of Michelle Clapspanken.
You had to bring it up, didn't you, Eddie?
She asked me to just call her Michelle. Anyway, look at that. It's the Heavy Gauss versus the AC-20s there.
The King Crab there backing off, quite rightly,
yes,
of course.
I think
Cutting-edge
quite
machinery. Yeah, against the Starly, the Kodiaq going one-on-one with the Atlas here.
Oh, and who will win?
Oh,
The
this is
updated version? You could say the clan version of an Atlas?
Oh, is it?
No!
Oh, the Coddy's dead.
Oh,
It's all in a sphere
it's
now,
an
baby.
all-in-a-sphere final.
Oh, there goes the King Crab not long
Wow.
after as the Annihilator, proving why it has that name. It's living up to it for sure.
Certainly
the
is.
Fafnir going on one-on-one. No, the Fafnir is now down. It's the Marauder II, the Atlas, and the Annihilator.
Well, we may have made a few less than nice remarks about the Marauder II and its
Yeah,
fans,
may have,
but they're getting their money's worth here because this thing is still going toe-to-toe with that Atlas.
This is going to be first, second, or third. That's going to be the question. There is a bit of a three-way fight going on here. The Annihilator's being ignored.
It looked like he powered down for a second. I think
Yeah,
he'd
I think he
overheated.
overheated. It's not
Which
an
is a
issue.
problem with the-
It's dead. It's the Atlas v the Annihilator. Who's going to
Annihilator's
win?
just-
Oh!
Who thought? Oh,
The
my
Annihilator
God.
annihilating the competition, and it takes several Mr. Bigs to kill it. Quite rightly. And that takes us into the final
The
scores.
scores on the doors. And
First
look at
place,
that.
the Annihilator,
Yes.
107 points in the end,
Wow.
followed by the Fafnir, the King
Impressive.
Crab, the Direwolf, the Atlas, the Kodiaq, and the Marauder II bringing up the bottom of the pack there. So it's been quite an interesting ending there. I
It
think.
has,
It's,
hasn't it? We've had our ups, we've had our downs, we've laughed too much.
I've cried
You've cried.
a lot.
But from us and our live studio audience,
It's working again, right, Eddie? Yeah.
Sort of.
So.
we'd just like to say thank you to everyone. I hope you've enjoyed the show as much as we've enjoyed making it.
And remember, it's not over yet, because we're going over into the winners category, as they'll be facing off in another round of competitions. Until then, on that long Tom, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. And so, once again, another episode
done.
There we go.
In front of our live studio
Our live
audience.
studio audience, yes, working as intended, yes. So that is the 100 tonners done, but it's not the end. We have our
It's
event.
not.
It's not. No.
It's not the end.
No.
You promised me that it was the end and I could have a bag of crisps and then I could...
Oh, no, you do get the bag of
I could
crisps,
put a
but
cold
after
towel on my head and lie down.
No, bro, no.
No?
No, it's going to continue on past the outro theme, in fact.
I mean, hooray.
Now we've got the lights
Yeah.
coming up, the winners from the light category, then the winners from the medium, then the heavies, and these assaults.
hooray.
And then the winners from those four, they'll have the grand final contest to
Do
determine...
we need to do this?
Yes, we do, because people seem to enjoy it.
We're not making any money and about 20 people watch them.
Well,
all right.
it's fine. Yeah, we'll get through it.
Okay.
So, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you have a
Thanks
good
for
week.
everyone who helped.
Yes, as always, thank you, everybody.
Thank you
who
very
helped.
much.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.